And so it is from this star system, Sirius B, that Amun-Ra sent the first God humans to the earth. And these God humans that were sent to the earth, in certain traditions they say they were 5, and some they say they were 8, and some they say they were 9. We're going to talk about 4 today. All right. And so they say in your reading they are called Osiris, but if we say Osiris, we're really speaking Greek. All right. So Osiris was accurately known by the people of Kemet as Asar. All right. Asar. Isis is known as Orset. Nephthys is known as Nephet. And Set in Greek translates to Set in Meduneter as well. And so these were the four God humans that descended from the star Sirius B to the planet in Egyptian or in Kemite history, which is theology as well. When we're talking about the first ancestors of ancient Kemet, you're talking about Asar, Orset, Nephthys, and Set. Now, when they descended to the earth, they didn't descend to the earth and land in Kemet. According to the history of Kemet, when they descended to the earth, they landed at a place that the people of Kemet referred to as Ta-Neter. Can you pass that out for me? That when Osar, Orset, Nephthys, and Set, when they descended and they landed at the earth, they said that they were to land at the earth at the location that they referred to as Ta-Neter. Ta-Neter. Of course, we already said that Neter means God or divine. Ta means land. So Ta-Neter is referred to as the divine land. The divine land or God's land. And where is Ta-Neter? Where is Ta-Neter in the handout that Brother Julian is passing out on the can I see that, Brother Julian? Yes. On the check out the side that has Somalia at a glance. That the land of Ta-Neter is where you find the modern country of Somalia on the map. All right, and Somalia is what they refer to as the Horn of Africa. Well, of course, Somalia is a rather new country. Somalia was created by the Italians when the Italians tried to invade and colonize Ethiopia. When the Ethiopians pushed the Italians back, they kind of wedged themselves and created a territory for themselves in this land of Somalia. According to that handout I think this came from the New York Times, looking at Somalia, this was during the time when they had a lot of political upheaval in Somalia at that time, and they wanted to show you where it was on the map. But I found the map very important because here you see in the map not only the name Somalia, but you also see the name Punt land. You see the name Punt land there? In the Bible, when it talks about Ham. In Genesis chapter 10 in the Bible, it says that Ham had 4 sons. All right, Ham was a son of Noah. Noah had 3 sons, Ham, Shem, and Japheth. And when you look at the table of nations, Genesis chapter 10, it says that Ham is supposed to be the black world, or represent the black world. Noah, of course, dealing with the flood. Well, where was that flood? That flood was when all that water from the ice age melted, all that ice from the ice age melted and created these great floods. The Hebrews tried to make a record of who survived that flood. And so when you read Genesis chapter 10 and you read about the generations of Noah, you know Noah had 3 sons, Ham, Shem, and Japheth. Right there in Genesis chapter 10, it tells you that Ham is the father of the black world. That Japheth is the father of the Gentile world or the European world, and that Shem is the father of the Semitic world. Really, when you're talking about Shem, who is Shem? Well, the Semitic world is really created when Hamites and Japhethites have relationship. When black and white come together, they create brown, and that's what you have in the creation of the Semitic world, of the Shemites. But when we're talking about Ham, it says in Genesis chapter 10 that Ham had 4 sons. Ham had a son called Cush. another word for Ethiopia. Okay, Ham had another son by the name of Mizraim. Mizraim is the Hebrew word for Egypt or Kemet. Ham had another son called Cush, Mizraim. He had another son. He had another son called Canaan. Canaan. You know where Canaan's land is today? Canaan's land today is Israel. All right, Israel. And Ham's fourth son was Punt. Punt. All right, or it said in the Genesis chapter 10 first as Punt. All right, but Punt. And you can see from the map where Punt land is. You see where Punt land is? Well, this land of Punt land is what the Kemites called Ta-Netir. And this land of Punt is where the earth's greatest or the best frankincense and myrrh actually comes from Punt. You know, when you celebrate the birth of Yeshua or Jesus, you know, they talk about the three kings. They brought frankincense and myrrh. Well, they brought frankincense. They got frankincense in ancient time. The best frankincense was created in Punt in antiquity. And Punt is what the Kemites call Ta-Netir. And Punt is the location where Osar or Set, Ta-Netir is the location where Osar or Set, Nephet, and Set, when they descended from Sirius B, they descended to the land of Ta-Netir, which the Bible refers to as Punt, which in antiquity, before it was separated from Somalia, was also referred to as Ethiopia. Very interesting when you look at the word Ethiopia. This is not in most books, really. Very interesting when you look at the word Ethiopia in most books. They will tell you that the word Ethiopia comes from the Greeks, and that the Greeks named Ethiopia to represent land of the burnt faces, or the burnt people, the burnt face peoples. But I think that they're really trying to pull one over on us when they translate the word Ethiopia in that way, because when you look at the suffix opia or Ethiopia, you know, you've heard of utopia, you know, which means like perfect place or divine place. Well, when they say Ethiopia, what root do you see there? Ethi. Play with those letters a little bit. Ethi. You know, you have the same THG root in the word Ethi. Ethiopia. And so when I say that theology means the study of God, right? Well, when you say the word Ethiopia, if this ETH root is the same as this THE root, then what you're saying is, you're saying what place? You're saying God's place. God's place. Which is exactly what the people of Kemetic called that place. They call Ethiopia Ta-Netir, or they call Punt, or that location right on the horn of Ethiopia. That's what they call Punt. Alright? Any questions? Alright? That's right, you alright? Alright. My last little lesson on this, and then we'll see y'all next time. Alright? And so it's very important, as the documentary speaks of, that we understand this theology, this cosmology, this ancient history, the first ancestors of ancient Kemet. Because every king, every ruler, every person in the society, they coordinated their personalities, they coordinated their value system, they coordinated their reason for living based upon the drama that took place in the lives of their first ancestors. A spiritual drama that took place in the lives of their first ancestors. And in the lives of the ancestors, Osar, Set, Nephet, and Set, it was said that when they were created, that kingship was given to Osar. That Osar was named to be the king of the culture that was to descend to the earth. And this culture was called the culture of the Anu. The culture of the Anu. Alright? And so places where you see this prefix An, you know, you have many cities in ancient Kemet and in the east, you know, they carry this prefix An, if not A-N.